today for the launch of this important book on a key Asian nationalist who was an important leadership role and leadership figure in India's struggle for independence. Bose was a sworn enemy of the British Raj, although he could have enjoyed more than a comfortable career in the prestigious ISEAS or Indian Civil Service of colonial India. He was an alumnus of Calcutta's prestigious Presidency College and of Cambridge University, who excelled in his studies. But he resigned from the ICS on principle, committed as he was to struggle against British rule in India. What he is also remembered for is the election he won to become President of the Indian National Congress in 1939, defeating the nominee of Mahatma Gandhi. With his arrival in Singapore in July 1943, he revitalized the Indian Independence League and the Indian National Army that had earlier been formed by Captain, later General Mohan Singh. On 4th July that year, he rose to the leadership of the Indian Freedom Movement based in Southeast Asia. In rallying support of his cause in Southeast Asia, he offered to those prepared to follow him nothing but hunger, thirst, privation, forced marches, and death, I quote, and announced to the whole world that India's army of liberation had come into being. In October that year, he proclaimed the formation of the Azadian Provisional Government of Free India at Cathay Cinema in Singapore. What I remember of him was when he first appeared at his first public rally organized to welcome him in Singapore on, I think, 4th July, 1943. As a straight-born Indian, very much a product of the British education system, I received my first political education, an eye-opener to what the Indian struggle was all about, from his speech. From that speech, my perspective of British rule, even in Malaya, took an opposite view and has remained so to this day. Bose's exemplary character did play an important role in the extraordinary appeal to the Indians in occupied Southeast Asia. His charismatic personality does not explain all the public adulation that he aroused in Singapore and beyond. Scholars write that his presence marked the real dawn of mass anti-British politics in Malaya. People flocked to hear him, donated money, donated jewelry, pocket money, and took up his cause. With his inspiration, docile and subservient Indian workers rose in self-confidence and discipline to become part of the INA and saw action in the Burma-India front. His appeal cut across religious, caste, and linguistic lines, so much a part of Indian society then. He brought women into the mainstream of the armed struggle against the British through the Rani of Jhansi regiment, named after the heroine of the First Indian War of Independence of 1857. Although the INA did not succeed in reaching its destination, that Netaji said, Chalo Delhi or On to Delhi, historians acknowledge that it contributed decisively to the independence that India finally achieved in 1947. Singapore's role as a launching pad of the struggle and the INA's ultimately successful anti-colonial march is a fact of history that relates this country closely to India's independence struggle. In his book, as the blog suggests, Professor Sugata Bose rechapters the story of Netaji's coming of age in the intellectual milieu of Calcutta and Cambridge, analyzes thoughts and relations during the bitter years of exile, and assesses the meaning of his rise to the peak of Indian nationalist politics. Behind his struggle lay the enduring themes of Indian history: how to unite Hindus and Muslims, men and women, and and diverse linguistic groups within the Catholic existential frontiers of a single independent nation. Professor Bose describes the INA segment of Netaji's political and military journey with historical passion and literary elan. In fact, these are the defining characteristics of the books as a whole. Professor Bose, despite being a close family member of Subhash Chandra Bose, has written this book with the same scholarly detachment that he brings to bear on his work as a leading historian at Harvard University. I am confident the readers of this book will enjoy the fascinating story that unfolds within its pages. I am pleased to launch it today. Thank you.